I work for Hero Time Manufacturing, and while I was in China, I got an amazing opportunity to get a guided tour of a wood factory that we work with to make board game components. So strap in, you're going to see the process of how they get cut out, of how they get painted, and if you're more interested in getting a quote for your board game and seeing how we can help you bring it to life, be sure to check out one of those links down below. But without further ado, let's open the door and let's get you into the wood factory.
By the way, this is laser etching. So if you want to put a logo on your meeple or a certain pattern on your meeple, but you don't want it to be colored, eh? With no color, this is a machine that does the laser etching. So they have in this, over here in the computer, this is called a CAD file. You will see once the window is off. They have the pattern over here that they want to print in the machine, and then it prints it directly onto the piece. And you know, in the system, you can also quote laser etching as well.
Oh my god, that's so fun.
But that's why when you want to do a dice with 6 sides, laser etching, that's a hell of, that's shit work. That's too difficult to make. But this one is 2 sides, it's still relatively normal and easy. How much do we quote it in the system laser etching? Do you remember, Chloe? We do like a cent and a half per laser per side or something.
Oh, this sucks it up. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And you can even feel, if you go over it with your finger, you can feel the pattern.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we can do laser etching also on meeples if you want, theoretically. Not a lot of publishers ask for it, for the laser etching on a meeple, but theoretically it is possible to do. But I want to show you how we actually make meeples. You see, so we buy wood sheets like this, similar to like paper sheets. And plywood, obviously they're different quality of, they're different quality of plywood as well. You know, you have a thinner one, a lighter one, a wider one, but then there are also different thicknesses of plywood. So this one can go up to 你最厚是多少？是20毫米吗？或10毫米差不多。
10毫米、20毫米有，但是切割是10毫米。
10毫米。So for plywood, we can do the thickness up to 10 millimeter thickness. Once you go over 10 millimeters of thickness, it's very difficult to cut.
功率最大的切。
So this is why. This is a laser machine that cuts the specific meeples or pieces that we actually want to make. If this is over 10 millimeter thickness, it doesn't cut well anymore. It doesn't cut even, it doesn't cut clean. Or it also becomes very black on the side. You see how it becomes very black? So if it's very thick, there's going to be a lot of ash on it. So, like the game, yeah. And that's why we cannot make meeples that are thicker than 10 millimeters. If we use plywood, you can go up to 10 millimeters. If you use MDF wood, like this MDF, then you can go up to like 8 millimeters for cutting. Oh, 就是这样子，弄不到。那个你用你密度板有没有这里？
有的，等一下。
Let me show you the MDF versus plywood, okay? Because there are a variety of types. Laser cannot cut like high quality beech wood because it's too thick, it's too dense. So we need to use specific wood, either plywood or we use MDF also as possible. Oh, 那个密度板的。没在做。这是密度板。啊，这是密度板。This is MDF. MDF is a lot denser than plywood. So when we cut MDF, we are limited to 8 millimeter thickness maximum. But the piece is a lot more durable and it feels better, feels heavier than plywood. These puzzles, it's a special service that they do in China for small quantity puzzles. So if you only want to do like 20 puzzles, 30 puzzles out of wood, we will use these laser machines. Once you want to do like 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 puzzles, then we want to use cardboard because this one takes too long. The price for these machines is per hour. Yeah, so it'll be like $15 to operate for an hour. And they calculate one sheet, how many hours does it take to cut one sheet? And that's the price of the meeple. UV 打印。
用 UV 上去，是这样样。这个是 UV 的，UV 再激光就得了。
This is printing on UV. Yeah, but keep watching. It's very cool.
这样的效果更好一点。传统意义上就是贴纸纸质的嘛，你纸质冲压
对，
也有吗？
我们这就做那个贴纸。
你们也做这种吗？
啊，很少。
这个也是一个大的类目，对吧？
对。可是如果你做1万套，你是关键。拿装。This is yes. This will be if you want to do wood discs. This will be wooden discs. So they take a whole sheet. These are number tokens. So you have numbers on it. 1, 2, 3. These are number tokens for this. I actually know this product. It's very funny. I made samples for it. This is a wooden disc. When you want to make wood discs for your game, wooden discs, you know wood discs? 对，我们做圆的，就是这个。This is expensive?
In our system.
Yeah, also here it's expensive. Because look how much wood needs to be wasted when you make a disc. You have all this wood that gets wasted. You have the machine that needs to run. You know, and the longer the machine runs, the more expensive it becomes.
Is there any way to recycle then anything else? Like
No, they do recycle this wood and make again plywood from it or MDF wood. MDF is basically all the residue and all the leftover of the different woods gets condensed, gets crushed, and then gets glued back together. So this is MDF. You can see the difference between plywood and MDF.
MDS?
MDF.
High quality.
So it's cheap? MDS wood.
No, they're more or less relatively the same price. Plywood is a little cheaper than MDF, depending. On this size, I would say MDF will be cheaper. So how can you tell the difference between MDF and plywood? So first of all, by the pattern of the wood itself, right? So you will see over here, the pattern has more lines, while here it's more of a collection of different wood particles in it that get glued together. Another big difference is here, because it's already laser cut, because this is so thick, it becomes black on the laser cut. But if it was thinner, here you will have layers. You will see layers of wood glued together. But here it's all dense wood put together as one. So in your token sheets, if you want to make a token sheet that is over 8 millimeter thick, we have to use plywood. Because the MDF doesn't cut well on over 8 millimeters. It becomes all black. You know, imagine people getting their token and it's all like, they get residue or yeah. So we have to use, if you want 10 millimeters, it has to be plywood. If we do 8 millimeters, it can be MDF. For myself, I prefer MDF because it feels denser.
Yeah.
It's a lot heavier. But then because of the thickness matters for a lot of people, they will choose a 10 millimeter, which is a plywood. Oh, they're printing right now some more tokens over there. But this should be 1.5 cents on large quantities. And then on small quantities, it's like 3-4 cents. But he only, yeah. It cannot be more than 3-4 cents.
Yeah, that's what happened to the plastic factory at some point.
You see how this one did not become black? The edge is not black because the laser machine is high quality and it cuts very fast. And the plywood is not too thick. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah. They take the painting thing and they just stir it up and.
Exactly. They take the painting that we saw yesterday and just spray all of it. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and for him, I'm gonna try and make sure in the beginning I say, oh, this is the big money making factory, and then we go to the slightly
Smaller,
yeah. Because as we all know, board games is not where the money is.
No. I mean, there's money, but not for wood pieces.
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of competition when it comes to the wood pieces. So all the factories that make wood pieces, because it's so simple, anyone can get a laser cutting machine.
手不能拿去啊，
哦，对对对，
它的激光是这里过来，再下去，
太热了。
它这里过来，射到那里再下去。
The laser, the fire comes all the way directly from there inside. So don't put your finger, don't come too close. Yeah, but you know, compared to the puzzles and like Jenga pieces that we saw yesterday, anyone can buy this machine and do it by themselves, right? So the price always goes very competitive.
这是相对而言目前最先进的，以前只有一个头，
一个头，
它现在是两个头。
哦，
以前只有这一个动作。
所以这个更慢一点。
更新很快的。
更新 because the laser machine is priced per hour, roughly $15-20 an hour. So they added two of these lasers, two laser heads, just to lower the cost a little more as well. So he's explaining exactly what you were saying before, how the big factories that has all the heavy machinery to process woods is one thing, but for him to buy a laser machine like this, there is no competitive advantage. Because these people, they only do laser. They only do laser 365 days a year. So their price per laser goes down. I mean, economies of scales is pretty straightforward concept. But by the way, I just want to say, you can show the two different token parts. This is obviously a lot cheaper because it's a lot faster. It's a lot less detail. But if you go to that machine over there, you will see it just takes a lot longer to cut because it's just so detailed. You see how detailed it is? It takes a lot longer. This machine will run this whole plate will take us like an hour, you know, but that machine will run 2 plates for an hour. Yeah, but it's always important to also choose the right piece of wood. Because generally, you know, you have like pine wood, you have the plywood, you have the MDF, you have beech wood, which is like extremely durable. But because tokens are so small and we use laser cutting for them, we cannot use like super high quality wood like beech wood for a meeple. Just because the meeple will not be able to cut well, and we will need to make the meeple very thin, 5 millimeters. So it always depending on the thickness that you want your meeple to be, and accordingly we will choose the right wood for it. Yeah. He's saying he's repeating again that sometimes you just want the best value for your money.
Yeah.
Right. That's ideal. You don't want to say like, oh man, I want the top quality wood when it doesn't make any real difference. So it's always a question of what is the best value for your money and what value is important for you, right? Now we will go see how they paint the wooden tokens after we print them. Yeah, we can stop the video here because we're going to take the bus to where they paint the tokens. So in this facility is where we add color onto the wood pieces. You see how we colored them? So over here, this is where we add the colors, and I'll show you the very cool machine that does add it. So you have a guy, you choose pass on colors, and you have the guy mixing color to the specific color you wanted, and then the machine just runs this barrel. This barrel, 那个小的片你可以放多少里面？5万可以吗？这个可以放5万吗？那边可以放5万个吗？One of them can hold up to 30,000 tokens. One of these barrels, and it takes about an hour plus just to turn until all the color is applied to the whole place.
每个颜色一个头。
Every color you make, every color shade you make needs to have its own barrel. So the yellow has to be with the yellow, the green, the orange, the purple. I mean, you can do different shades, but you have to use the same barrel color every time, over and over again. That's why they have so many colors. Look at this. This is like 30,000 tokens right now, spinning. I think this is also quite cool, how they mix the colors. There's another important point. There's another very important point. The more color is applied, the darker it becomes. So you really want to keep it the right amount of time in the machine, in the roller. And so you have this guy walking around, just making sure that the color of the pieces is actually correct and is not too deep. Look at him mixing colors. You go closer, go closer. He's mixing the colors. Oh. So one side of the machine applies the color. This part applies the color. And this one is a dryer. It pushes hot air to dry as the color gets applied. This one applies better. You can see the actual color coming out. And you have a bunch of other colors over there as well. You can see the wood pattern is different. This is the beech wood I was talking about, which is very strong, very, very hard. This is the MDF one. Yeah?
Yeah, that's good stuff.
So theoretically, we can also make meeples from this, but it's way too expensive. Way too expensive. So we have to make meeples from this one or from plywood. Plywood is even softer than MDF. You see, very, very high quality wood pieces. But this one needs the large machines that we saw yesterday to cut. A laser machine cannot cut this one. Oh. Oh. He's checking the color now. If the color is enough, is green enough. He picks up a few pieces and he checks if the color is okay or not. This is a sample. And then he compares. This is sample, this is mass production. You know, so he needs to make sure that the exact same color. It's a lot of using the eyes. Yeah, they need to use the eyes and look. For this one, they wanted very thick wood, but they also wanted to be cheap. So what they did was they did middle layer MDF, and then at the outside they did the beech wood. So the pattern looks better. Which is also quite kind of smart. I just want to repeat the difference. This is very easily, you can see very easily the difference between plywood and beech. This is full wood, this is layered. Before we could not see it because we cut it with laser in the laser factory, so it all turned black. But here they cut it with the machines we saw for the Jenga, the big machine, so you can actually see the difference very clearly. Look at this trait. And this is what they do in these machines. They add oil surfacing on the wood to make it more beautiful, to make it shinier, make it more rich. So these are those machines. You see all these 5 barrels? They just add the oil coating on top of the wood. And this is it for the painting token factory. Oh, here also you can also see very easily. This is MDF. This is actual wood. Look at the color. This is real wood. This is just residue of wood. They was glued together. Yeah, I love this wood.